Southern Paprika is the largest single-site glasshouse grower of capsicums in New Zealand. The business is a joint venture between Alexander Cropping and a Dutch company, Levaat.
We're called Southern Paprika, and the reason we've got that name is our Dutch partners are obviously from Holland, and up in the Northern Hemisphere, capsicum is known as paprika. Well, the partnership with Levaat came around because they wanted to supply capsicums in the Northern Hemisphere winter to Japan. The Japanese business for us is a very important piece of our market, and we continue to look for more growth there as well. Sales are going exceptionally well. It's a fruit, so it has a flush cycle, and it's very hard to forecast what's coming on and what's not, but we do our best, and our sales guy does a fantastic job in getting rid of the fruit pretty much 2 days after it's been picked and packed. We're about an hour and a bit out of Auckland, so the fruit that's picked this morning gets packed this afternoon, and tonight it's on the truck down to Auckland. As it's going to Tokyo, it'll get the 9 a.m. flight to Tokyo, and so within about 24 to 36 hours, it'll be on the consumer's plate in Japan. We collect all the rainwater off our roof, and that goes into our wells, and we have a bore on site as well. So we try and recycle as much as we can.
We're looking after 23 hectares of glass. We're also built here on this location because we're right on the gas line, so nice and easy access to the gas. And the advantage of that is we can condense the flue, so the exhaust gas we condense and take the carbon dioxide off, which is pumped into the glasshouse. So we're trying to enrich the air with carbon dioxide, trying to get up to 750 parts per million. Most of our technology is from Holland, with a few Kiwi adaptations. Everything is grown in bags of either rockwool or cocoa peat. This helps keep the system nice and clean, and we have a perfect chance to control our nutrients. We've got a Paprika climate control computer that controls carbon dioxide, humidity, heat, the ventilation. It's aware of what direction the wind's blowing, so it protects itself. If it gets too strong, it says, I'm forgetting about the crop inside, and it just looks after itself. And it might just crack the lee side so that we don't get any glass planes getting blown in or blown out. This is standard float glass, so same as windows in your house. The latest glass house we've built has been built with diffuse glass, so it has a mottled effect, so that instead of getting the direct light coming in, what it does is it scatters the light. The thought is that instead of getting light only at the tops of the crops, you can get light right down to all of the leaves down below, and so the plants are able to do a lot more photosynthesis. Some of our big challenges are disease and insects. A few years ago we had a new insect into New Zealand, the potato-tomato psyllid, and that's been devastating for solanaceous plants, so capsicums and tomatoes and potatoes to a lesser extent, where these things come in and they are spreading a disease. So if they are able to feed on your plants for 20 minutes, they pass on a disease through to the crop, which ultimately kills the plants. We have a number of insects available to us for purchase to put into glass houses that we work with to try and help control some of these insects. And we would love more. It's simply tricky to get into the country, but we are actively trying to get in new insects as we speak. It's a key part of our industry. The whole world is moving away from the use of solid insecticides into more limited sprays. So the old days of calendar spraying are certainly well and truly gone, and they're certainly gone here, where we would try and spray as little as possible to try and keep our beneficial insects alive. We purchase the seeds from local seed companies. We have our own germination facility. We make seedlings and they get planted on the slabs. And then with any sort of luck and conditions go well, within 3 months we're starting to harvest ripe fruit. The glasshouse has a significant labour force. We have a number of people from the Kiribati who come across on the RSE scheme, as well as a fairly large full-time Kiribati staff that don't mind the heat here. Obviously close to the equator for them, so well and truly used to the high temperatures that we expect in here.
Over our 3 complexes, we vary our planting a month apart. So the time we are picking our greens off complex 1, we're pulling our complex 3 plants out. So there's a 3-month difference there. So that enables us to supply greens year-round to the likes of Subway. They take around 7 tonne a week. This is our pack house. We work around about 9 to 10 hours a day, depending on the time of the season. We have around 30-odd staff in here at the moment, which varies depending on the crop at the time. This week we're looking to pack around 170 tonnes, and we can get up to 230 tonnes a week at the peak of our season. There could be a lot more automation done, and that is something we might look at in the future, but at the moment we're very happy with what we've got. Around 50% of our crop is sold domestically, and the balance goes overseas, predominantly to Japan. The last 2 years we've seen our domestic consumption go up around 40%, which is fantastic. So we're looking to consolidate that growth and keep growing it. We also export to Australia and Canada, depending on how much fruit we've got and if the price is right. It's predominantly reds that we sell, around 60%, and then yellow and then orange and a bit of the green. We've got some new technology now which is enabling us to do kilo and 750 gram value bags, so we can mix up the colour ratio depending on how our crops flush and how much percentage of fruit we've got. Sweet points, we've had those for a couple of years now. Again, we've got our new bagger, so we're looking to increase the presence of those in the supermarkets and grow the brand of that. They're around 10% sweeter than the normal capsicums, so we see that as a real growth area for us, and that we know that kids love them and they can eat them raw. We're doing around about 6,500 tonnes per annum now that we've got our 23 hectares, so that's a lot of capsicums. And that's just under 1 million plants, so we're pretty happy with that.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.